3 years ago, I realized that wealth does not come from big dramatic changes like ice baths or waking up at 4 a.m. In fact, waking up at 4 a.m. just makes me even more tired and less productive. It actually comes from small, repeatable habits that can snowball and over time really make you money. So if you want my secret to real wealth, then stick around because I'm going to be sharing 15 tiny habits that have transformed my money, my mindset, and my life. Habit number 1 is create more than you consume. We live in a high consumption society. People tell you to buy, consume, consume, consume. The reality is that if you want to generate real wealth for yourself, you actually need to create more often than you consume. Creation can look like a lot of different things: writing, teaching, recording, but what it does is it creates an asset that then can continue to generate you wealth over time. Even if nobody sees what you're creating today, over time, you are still building skills and proof of work. I don't want you to think that this only means you have to become a YouTuber or a TikToker or something like that. There's tons of different ways to create. It can look like writing blog posts, newsletters. Of course, yes, it could involve short form content like TikToks, Instagram Reels, long form content like YouTube videos, digital products like checklists, templates. You could write code, write essays, short stories, poetry, draw, paint, create digital art. I mean, truly, when I'm saying create, I just mean create. Start with just 15 minutes per day. And remember that over the span of a year, 15 minutes per day comes out to 100 hours of creation. All right, habit number 2 is distancing yourself from the wrong energy. This one I think is so important. The reason for that is mindsets, unfortunately, are contagious. If the circle around you is always complaining or gossiping, that's just going to become normal behavior for you and suck you into doing the same types of things. Successful people solve problems. They don't dwell on them. I really love this quote from Jim Rohn. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I think about this quote all the time when I think about who do I spend the most time with in my life. And a lot of times things like your salary, just kind of the way you are as a person is going to be a reflection of who those people are, what their income level is. If they have bad habits, you're likely to have bad habits. So just think about who your closest circle of friends are, and it might be a little hard to realize that you are very similar to them. If you don't have a really strong circle of people that are the level that you want to be, I recommend just getting into books, podcasts, or even finding some online communities of people that are like-minded. All right, habit number 3 is practicing daily gratitude. And I know this might sound cheesy, but once I fully understood the importance of gratitude and the impact that it could have on my life, it truly is a tiny habit that can significantly improve your situation. Gratitude isn't just about being polite and saying thank you. It's a signal actually to your brain and to the universe. When you're actively focusing on what's good in your life, your brain is going to start filtering for more of it. However, if you're constantly focusing on what's missing in your life, your mind is going to reinforce a more scarcity mindset. What you focus on continues to expand. So gratitude is just a crazy tool that if you can really master it, you're just going to continue to generate those things more so in your life. All right, habit number 4 is automating your savings and investing. This is important because willpower is inconsistent. However, systems are consistent. It can be really hard if you have a little bit of money left over at the end of the month to say,
all right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this right into savings or into my investment account,
rather than spending it on something fun. You're just eliminating this possibility of forgetting, overthinking, or overspending. I love this quote from Warren Buffett: do not save what is left after spending. Spend what is left after saving. This has been such a big mindset shift for me. Just remember that even $100 per month invested can automatically grow into tens of thousands of dollars over time without any extra thought. Automation is really just putting your wealth on autopilot. All right, habit number 5 is having one clear financial goal every single year. The truth is that our brains are wired to complete things, to finish projects. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Hopefully I didn't butcher that pronunciation. If you have a really vague goal, that makes it a little bit more open-ended and gives your mind a reason to not do it. For example, I want to save more money. That doesn't give your brain anything concrete to log onto. So that's why it's really important to set clear, measurable goals. We all learned in elementary school about SMART goals, but this gives your brain a specific unfinished task that it needs to complete. I also think it's really important to tie your financial goals to something emotional. So if it's like you want to save $10,000 $10,000 by the end of this year. Well, why do you want to save that $10,000? Is it because you want a down payment on a bigger house? If so, why do you want a bigger house? Is it so that your family and your kids have a yard to go play in? So just kind of think about why you want these goals, tie them to something emotional and tangible, and that will even more so give you a reason to accomplish them. Habit number 6 is to create 3 financial buckets so that you can spend guilt-free. A lot of people end up feeling really guilty about their spending habits because they don't have money actually designated for spending. So then when they do spend, it feels wrong, it feels bad, it feels like they shouldn't do it. So I like to use these 3 buckets. They all start with F, so it makes it a little bit easier to remember. We have fundamentals, future, and fun. Fundamentals are obviously going to be your needs, your things like your bills, your groceries, etc. Future is going to be things like your investments and savings, and fun is where you get to have fun and spend money. In Parks and Rec, Donna called it the treat yourself fund, and that's the fun bucket. We should all have one. The trick is just making sure we have it alongside the future bucket so that we aren't derailing our future or the rest of our lives. We are continuing to save and invest. Habit number 7 is to learn something new about money every single week. Money is a skill. It's a learned skill. I don't know if you knew that, but you can learn how to be good with your money. It's not something that we're born with. However, a lot of people that are successful with their money had parents who taught them how to be good money managers and those types of things. If you weren't born with that and didn't have that growing up, it is possible to teach yourself. If you just spent 1 hour each week learning about money and how it works and how to improve your financial situation, that is 52 hours per year, which is basically an actual course on money mindset, wealth building. Actually, Bill Gates is famous for these things called think weeks, where he just disappears into books and he just spends that time learning and growing. Remember that learning over time is going to compound and can really set yourself up for success in the long run. Habit number 8 is beating the yes trap. What this means is not saying yes to every single thing that you get asked to do. The truth is that saying yes to everything leaves no time for the things that actually matter. Burnout is not great. It does not help your success. It does not help you succeed. So make sure to get clear on your priorities and remember that if whatever is being asked of you does not align with your values and goals, then you are empowered to say no. This single habit can really create space for compounding habits like saving, creating, or even building a side hustle. Habit number 9 is to invest in yourself. Okay, I know we just talked about investing in the stock market, saving your money, etc., but I'm talking here about investing in you and your personal development. Remember that your skills and your health are going to grow you as an individual, and you need to have those things in order to live a long, healthy, wealthy life. Those things will help you build a higher income, make you better at decision making, and have even more energy in your day-to-day life. Benjamin Franklin once said, "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest." You can work on getting a new certification, improving your public speaking, or of course, focusing on fitness. These are all things that are going to pay off for decades to come. I personally like to read financial literacy books or personal development books, and I find that as a great way to grow myself as an individual as well as my financial future. Habit number 10 is one that we talk about all the time on my channel, which is building multiple income streams for yourself. Although I don't recommend doing 10 different income streams at once, just start with one. Relying on a single paycheck is fragile. The reality is that you could get fired for an unexpected reason. You could get laid off even though you're a top performer at your company. In fact, that's exactly what happened to me. If you're new to my channel, I was laid off from my tech job along with thousands and thousands of other people, and I decided that I was going to create a YouTube channel so that I could create additional income streams for myself. Remember to start small. Don't chase 5 different income streams at once. Focus heavily on just one income stream until it starts to pay off and start paying you money, and then from there you can expand. Habit number 11 is simplifying your decisions. The reality is that every single decision you have to make in life requires mental energy. If you can simplify decisions, then you're going to really free up energy for yourself. One way that I like to do this is by coming up with a meal plan for the entire week on Sunday. My husband and I will do a big grocery run, and that way throughout the week we don't have to think about what are we having for breakfast, lunch, dinner, what do I need to go buy from the grocery store, let's go look up a unique and yummy recipe. No, we have it all figured out, and that reduces the amount of mental energy needed to focus on meals and instead can focus on other important aspects of my life. In fact, if you didn't know, one of the reasons that Steve Jobs always is pictured pictured wearing a black turtleneck. It was not fashion choices, it was because it just took another decision out of his day. It was a productivity hack to save energy to be even more productive with his business. Habit number 12 is to network with intent. Every opportunity that you're going to have in life is going to come through other people. So that's why it is so important to have strong relationships with each other. Intentional networking is not about using people, it's about building mutual value. So how can you provide value to somebody else's life, and then maybe one day in the future they will be able to improve your life and provide value in it as well. Try reaching out to a few new people each week, maybe just 3 people. Thank someone, offer value in their life, or even just try to reconnect. What's cool about it is one introduction or conversation could seriously change your financial trajectory. Habit number 13 is to take action before you feel ready. A lot of people will get stuck in this analysis paralysis and they won't want to make a decision because they don't feel like they have every single thing perfect in order to make that decision. But the truth is that if you wait for the perfect timing to do something, it's never going to be the perfect time. It's really just procrastination in disguise. I remember somebody told me this when I was thinking about having kids. I know this isn't quite the same, but they told me, you're never going to actually be ready for kids. So if it's something that you know that you want, you should go ahead and just go for it. The truth is that every successful person started before they were ready. Your website does not need to be perfect before you launch it. Your business does not need to have every single piece and detail figured out before you launch it. Just start, just launch it. And remember that the first draft of anything is better than no draft at all. Habit number 14 is normalizing money conversations. I love this one so much because I feel like money conversations are so taboo and they should be so much more talked about. The reality is that silence keeps people stuck. Talking about money with friends, partners, family can often give you new perspectives or strategies or ideas and even accountability for your own financial goals. In fact, that's why I like to be open and honest and transparent on my channel about things like how much I've been making from YouTube or my various income streams, not only because I think it holds me accountable to continue to, make high quality content, but I also hope that it inspires other people and encourages them to understand what's actually possible with a platform like YouTube, for example. If you're not sure how to broach the topic, you could always just ask somebody what is their favorite tool for tracking expenses, for example, and that could just open the door to that type of conversation. All right, and lastly, let's talk about the 1% rule. This is probably the most important one out of this entire list. And the reason for that is because big changes going from, making $1,000 a month to making $10,000 a month, that sounds huge, right? But with little 1% improvements, saving a little bit more, adding a little bit more income, reducing spending over time, these can all compound over time to make crazy big results. Realize that improving just 1% per month, whether that be your income, your spending, etc., that equals about 12% per year. And over the span of several years or even a decade, that number becomes life-changing. So just remember that the 1% rule can really compound over time to significantly change the trajectory of your life and help you become truly wealthy. The truth is that wealth is not built by chasing extremes. It's built by stacking small, achievable habits on top of each other until they really just become who you are. I would recommend picking at least 3 habits from this list and try to practice them this week, whether that be starting up a conversation with a friend about money, starting to practice gratitude, or finding a way to simplify your decisions. If you do that, then you'll be better than 99% of the people who just plan to change. Remember that your systems become your safety net and your habits become your wealth. All right, if you guys found this video useful or helpful, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. And if you want more wealth-minded conversations, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much, and I will catch you in the next one.